Okay, I think we can go ahead and get started, everybody. Thank you for joining us on this webinar. A lot of businesses right now, they're focused on reopening. They're focused on kind of new business strategies, new marketing. With that in mind, we have a really great presentation today from Adriana Madronon, one of Florida SBDC's consultants. She's going to discuss kind of a business reinvention kit and some different ideas and strategies that you should consider as you're working through that process. Quickly, just about Florida SBDC. Florida SBDC at FIU is under the College of Business at FIU. We work with businesses in the community in Miami-Dade and Monroe County. We're focused on business growth. So we're focused on helping you get loans, get contracts, increase revenue, hire more employees. And the best part is it's no cost to you, the business owner. We receive federal, state funding, and we also work with local partners to bring funds as well. And obviously, we're helping a lot of businesses right now surviving the pandemic and kind of reinventing the business. So I just want to thank you again for participating in the webinar. As Brianna put in the webinar chat, please note that we're going to be holding questions until the end of the presentation. So please put your questions in the Q&A tab at the bottom of your screen, and then we will get to those questions at the end. But without further ado, I'm gonna bring up Adriana and she'll get to the presentation. So just thanks for attending.
Good morning, Brian, and thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to speak on behalf of the SBDC at FIU and be one of the consultants to help the different business. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining this webinar today. I hope after listening to this webinar, you see your business with a new light and you can get tons of ideas to really start the reinvention of your business. As Brian said, please, I love questions. Please type them on the Q&A box and I'm here to help you. Okay. My name is Adriana Madriñan. I'm a strategist. That means that I see all the information and I put all the dots together. And I help bring clarity to situations and to business and I also do personal strategy. I'm a consultant at the SBDC at FIU. I also teach at a strategy at Startup FIU. For a small business, and I focus on growth strategy, business models. I have an MBA and an MS in integrated marketing communication, and my career, I'm an industrial designer. So that comes in a big play when we think about business model reinvention, business and business models reinvention. So as Brian said, SBDCs are a network funded in part through the cooperative agreement of the U.S. Small Business Administration, and it comes from funding of the government, higher education, and private sector. There are about 1,300 centers nationwide, and in Florida, we have 9. And in our case, we cover specifically Miami-Dade and Monroe County. Here's our group. Our director, Brian Van Hook, and all the consultants that we can help you through anything you need about startup assistance, financial management, capital access, international trade and development, growth strategy, business models, business innovation, government contracting, all related to marketing and research and all other needs that you have as a small business. So why are we talking today about business reinvention? And the reason it is very clear. And I love this article from McKinsey Company that they gave us 5 clear steps on what we need to do. And companies, no matter the company, they are going through these 5 steps. The first one we went was to resolve. So when COVID-19 came with the challenges we had to resolve and deal with the workforce, with the customers, with the technology. The next one is the resilience, how we adapted, we took it patiently, we deal with what we could deal. Then now we are in the return. We are opening, we are seeing what are the new rules and regulations and how we're going to handle our business. But then it comes a reimagination. We need to really try to have the vision of the new normal, what is going to change, and adapt our business towards it. And finally, when we reform is when everything is adapted, and that becomes not the new normal, but the normal. So let me explain you with this curve. This is the Kubler-Ross change curve. So whenever there is a change, this is the curve that happens. At the beginning, there is a lot of, nobody knows what is happening. Then a lot of job losses and changes. Then we go to a really deep low, and then we start reinventing again. So at this point, we are at the bottom with COVID-19. And it's not that change was not coming. In fact, we were expecting something, probably more a financial recession. We didn't expect it to come in the name of COVID-19 and also involve the biological side. But the only thing COVID-19 has done is to accelerate the jump from the status quo to the exploration and rebuilding. It has accelerated things. It has disrupted. And when this disruption comes, the only thing is that whatever was going to happen is happening faster. I'm amazed to hear, for instance, how, for instance, in Milan, that was one of the most affected areas in Italy, they decided to start with the plan that they had for 2030. They cannot have all these cars and all this public transportation. So they're changing the city in a walking city and bike city. So they're changing a lot of the streets. So they're accelerating what they have in 10 years, they're starting to build it now. And if we see this is also in many ways visible. I remember reading 3 years ago from Gartner that it says that the fourth industrial revolution, that is the area, the moment we are now, it was going to change the way we connect and we communicate. And at that point for me, it was like not very clear. In a way, yes, I thought artificial intelligence and robotics and electric cars, but how, and 3D printing, but how is that really going to change the way we connect and communicate? But now I see it very clear. We are completely changing the way we connect and the way we communicate. And this webinar is an example of that. So when this comes, it opens 3 gates. When changes come, opens 3 gates. And this is my perception. This is not from a book. This is what I think. I think COVID-19 has opened 3 important gates. The first gate is the space. We are working now in a completely new and different space. Many of us from home. Many of us, we are not connected to each other, but digitally or by phone. So the way we relate to each other has completely changed. But when a space opens, then a new set of opportunities open the way we can do things. Perception is also for me a gate that has changed. We are very visual, and that was the rule of the game. And even for a small business to appear bigger, that was a rule of the game, or a medium-sized business. But now the perception, we really are seeing which are the companies that perform, how professional is this business, how they're behaving, how they're approaching all these changes. So perception is not about only what we see, but how the companies are acting and how we see, how we get what they're doing. So there's a new way that we can also change even the image of our companies. I was talking yesterday to a colleague of the SBDC, and definitely, for instance, public relations have become is a very important door that we can use now. Values. I really believe this is changing, is an important gate. We move from being companies that we need to produce and really focus on earnings. Now we really value the companies that kept the employees and have been empathetic with those around them and with their clients. We have dealt with a lot of companies within SBDC that have been extremely generous, giving foods for free, and amazing things. So values, we are also seeing in a completely different way. So let's talk about change. So we really understand what is happening with COVID-19 and how that affects our business. Change can come in two ways. It can come as a trigger, or it can come as a shift. Let's start with shift so we understand. Shift is when something happens over time. So for instance, climate change is a shift. It's something that has been evolving over time and we see how it's changing. Gender equality is also a shift, it's changing over time. The emerging middle class is something that is a shift. It's building year over year and it's changing, but it's slow change. Triggers are things that happen in an instant. So when a political event happens, with a natural disaster happen, and we are used to hurricanes in Florida, when an economic recession happened, but also COVID-19 is a trigger. So it happens in an instant. We weren't prepared really for that. So when that drivers of change come, that means that trigger comes, it impacts our needs. If you think we are exactly the same people, but our needs have drastically changed. And when our needs change, expectations change. So probably I don't want, not even when we look at ourselves, we don't want the services the same way that they were offered before. So maybe the way I receive my deliveries are in a completely way that I expected yesterday or 2 months ago. The way that I expected the doctor to treat me now is different. So the COVID-19 came, the trigger, it changed my needs. And then it affected my needs, and then it changed my expectations. And that really opened the space for reinvention. A reinvention comes in different ways. It can come as a vision. For instance, when Patagonia decided to have a reinvention and say, you know, we are really gonna lead all these sustainability movement. That's a vision. A business model is when into the crisis of 2008, Airbnb, the owners, the reason they started is because they really needed money and they started renting a room in their own apartment. So that's a new business model. Then product, service, or experience, all the wearables, now all the sports that we are seeing that we can do from home, how we connect to a video and we join a team of people that are doing exercise. So that's a product, a service, and an experience. And campaign, maybe when Dove launched the campaign with the natural woman, and we could see women as they are. So those are the different ways we can reinvent. So as you can see, with all these changes, what happened really is that COVID-19 moved our businesses out of our comfort zone. It really pushed us immediately outside of where we were playing. So that's why we are here to talk about business model reinvention, businesses reinvention. I see 3 scenarios, and probably you are in one of these. For those that have continued working, they have seen either a very accelerated growth and definitely an intensified work. There are many that are finding that they need to build a parallel business. For instance, if I sold food, now I found that probably I need to do delivery to cover for the losses that I'm getting for the people that are not coming into my restaurant. Or maybe a total reinvention. What if I was a supplier for a hotel and hotels are not really active right now? How could I really reinvent what I'm doing? It could be for a while, but it could be for long term. Remember that this is only accelerated what it was gonna happen. And I get a lot of the time the question, yeah, but if we happen and we go to the normal way, well, there have been a lot of economies that are predictive that when things really up, let's say if a vaccine gets in place, the economy is gonna jump super fast. It's gonna grow super fast because probably many of the business not only have one way to have revenue, but 2 or 3 ways to get revenue. So we could have a very fast growth. So let's talk about the 7 steps to reinvent your business. The first step is we need to understand the new environment. I even say to the people that I work with, Please, if you Google and it says February 2019, that data is old. So this is the time that either we look for new data or we really find the answers ourselves. We can ask our clients what they need. We can search on our own and really understand the new environment, what is happening. So to understand the new environment, we need, first of all, to understand what is your real line of business. Because one thing to reinvent, we need to be very careful that we are not extremely narrow in our definition. So if I say I only make chairs, it's very limited the option to reinvent. But if I say I'm in the business of allow people to sit comfortable, that brings me to a whole new world of possibilities. If I sell, let's say I only say, oh, I sell high-end clothes. Well, maybe I need to now think, maybe I sell high-end clothes to enjoy when I'm at home. So it's important to really see, or to enjoy and to be comfortable, and that would change the whole game. If I sell, I don't know, soaps and bubbles for the tub, maybe it's not about soaps. It's about the space and I sell experiences where people can have a peaceful moment. So when I really find my line of business, I can really find tons of possibilities. Once I have clear what is really my line of business, definitely I need to go back and check what is the economy, the industry, the market, and the trends. So in the economy, we would check how easy can we get the capital. Is it, are people really investing in the type of industry is there any discretionary income? What do we expect is going to happen around us? Not only in the economy as a country or as a state, but if you are a business like a restaurant, what is the economy within your neighborhood? In the industry, we need to know what is happening with our industry, what is changing, how are they behaving with this new normal, what are the restrictions, the laws we have to follow, what were the areas that we were doing before but that now we need to change. The market, this is a great moment to go back and review the market. What are these new markets that are needing help right now? What is happening with the marketing that I was covering? How can I make a better for them? How can I bring a better experience for the market that I was covering? What happened with my competitors? Because many times my competitors are disappearing and new players are coming into the table. So what is happening with all of them? And then the trends. There are regulatory trends, technological trends, socioeconomical trends. So there are many trends, and next week on Tuesday at the same time, I'm going to be talking about only trends. That's a topic on its own. But be aware, there are a lot of trends that were coming and have accelerated, but also there are a lot of trends that are emerging that were never seen before, like virtual companions and virtual guidance. That is all related, for instance, how we can have help from the doctor or a psychologist online. And all this guidance that it comes online that before was not there. We didn't see it. We thought we needed to go to the doctor. So there are a lot of trends that we will talk that are very interesting, all these virtual experience and a lot of new interesting trends. So Google and find it. Good sources right now that I like are Marketplace is definitely from NPR. I like it because it has taken a kind of positive, within the difficulties, it has an informative tone and you can get a lot of ideas out of there. Definitely McKinsey, I think, is writing amazing pieces. And all the big consultancy firms are doing interesting reports. So follow all of that. And then you will get a lot of the feeling what is going on in the environment right now. For every of these areas, the economy, the industry, the market, and the trends, you should look what are the opportunities and the threats for your business. Remember, on this new environment, what are the opportunities and threats I can see for my business? The second part is be aware of the customer new needs. So as I said before, we are all the same. And even some of us that were already working from home, it has completely changed. Now we have the whole family with us 24/7, or maybe we are alone 24/7. So we may be the same, but the customer's needs have changed. They are new needs. So really, I recommend that you go, if you are in the business to consumer area, that means that you are a business and you sell directly to consumers, go and ask to your previous clients, what has changed? How can you serve them better? What do they need? Ask them what they feel, what are the needs that they have not been covered, and what you can do as a provider for them. But even more interestingly, okay. So when you look at the customer needs, is look at the pains and the gains. So what are the pains, the things that are really bothering them right now? And were not the same before. Maybe if I sold supplies for schools, the pains before was like, can you deliver on time? Can you lower the price? Maybe now the pain is, how can we deliver those supplies to all the kids that are at home? So it's a different pain. And the gains is what other values we can bring to that customer that needs, that will make him or her happier, that the experience will be better. So let's say in this case that I was, I don't know, delivering supplies, and now I'm gonna send it to the homes of the kids. The gain will be if I can deliver with a message for every single kid, that they will feel they belong to that specific school, for instance. That will be a gain. So be very careful on the new pains and the new gains. And if you are in the business to business world, I recommend not only you analyze your client's pains and gains, but your client's pains and gains. So let me explain this. If my client is a spa, what is the pain of the spa now? That nobody's going to a spa. But definitely everybody's stressed out at home. So probably the spa could think of their own clients on bringing, how do I bring the spa home? So if I'm a supplier of the spa, I could talk to the spa and say, listen, I have these new products or services that I can bring your experience to your clients better. So remember, if you're in the business to business, not only think about your client's needs, the client's pains and gains, but your client's pains and gains. And that will open you to a whole new world. And the idea is that if we help our clients do better business, our clients will buy more from us. So we really now need to understand the whole chain. Once you have really understood your client's needs, it's important that you recognize your business capabilities. So we need to understand and really be aware what are our strengths and what are our weaknesses. And this is the time to really, really be aware of these and check strength by strength. What can we offer to the world right now that we are really good at, and where we are not that strong, that we can really improve, that we really need to step up. For instance, my strength could be, I had an amazing system to do delivery. I have amazing social media to connect, but maybe I'm not really maybe I know now I need to sell on Amazon, but I'm clueless about how to do that. So how do I sell online through Amazon or Etsy, or maybe that's a weakness that I have that I need to cover right now, and this is the moment to do it. So let's leverage our strengths, but let's also turn our weakness into strengths. But how are we gonna do it? So once we know our weaknesses and strengths, we need to identify the invention gap, because we don't need to invest in every weakness that we have right now. So let's understand this chart. At the top, I have weaknesses and strengths. And on the vertical side, I have the new needs and not a new need, because remember, the needs change. Many times I find the mistakes that business are really good at that something. And even though it's not a need anymore, they want to continue doing what they were doing. And this is something we shouldn't be doing now. Let's say I'm super good at really giving meetings one-to-one. I'm a consultant, but I only believe in working conferences and one-to-one. And I believe I will only do it if people come to my office. That's a waste of time and resources, because right now people really want to hear what you have to say, but maybe not in personally. So really avoid any strength, or don't waste your time in things that are not a need anymore. Also, if it's a weakness that you have, but there is not a need, that's a no-no. Why to invest in something like that? If I have a strength, I'm really good at something, and it's really a new need, let's see how we leverage that even more, how we connect to that even more, how we got to get even better. And if there is something that is definitely a new need, but our business, we don't have the capability yet, we need to build it. Maybe your marketing is not where you want it yet, or maybe it's not communicating the new message, or maybe you need to find a loan because you definitely need to build some structure that you are missing to get where you want to get, or you need a new growth strategy to really know where you want to go. So remember, really leverage what you have strong, but also build what you are missing, but only if it's related to the new needs. Once you have identified that, what are the new needs? How can you leverage what you are really strong at? Definitely you need to rewrite your value proposition. How you rewrite a value proposition, you need to be aware what is your product and service that are really important at this time for your client needs, and definitely what is the cure you are bringing for the pain they have, and how you strengthen the gains for that customer needs. So you really need, if we continue saying what we were saying 2 months ago, maybe the clients won't be interested anymore. So we really need to rethink how we are building that value proposition, and that will be the base and the root for an amazing communication and marketing campaign and an amazing business model. But you need to be really aware on how do I, so what is the product or service that I have to help a specific segment to solve a specific need, and to maybe eliminate a specific pain and create a gain. So for instance, I had to teach all the classes that I give on personally, even though I love that connection, to do them completely online. So let's say that my classes, my online classes, help a small business that want to reinvent what they were doing by eliminating the lack of knowledge on how to do it, and creating a new set of tools that they can use to get where they want to go. So you have to be really clear on that new value proposition. But once you have your new value proposition, you shouldn't stop there. You really should go really deep and find all the areas that you can reinvent. Reinvent is not tweaking. It's really creating this whole new version, a better version of your business. So the way to create a better version of our business is when we already know what we have to do, but we go even deeper. And there are 10 ways to really bring innovation. And believe me, it doesn't have to be disruptive innovation. The companies have been in the world more successful about non-disruptive innovation than in disruptive innovation. If you have a disruptive idea this time, amazing. If you are just having a non-disruptive innovation, but you are really having your customer in mind, that will be great. That's what will take you to the other side. So these are the 10 ways you can reinvent your business. The first one is about profit model. So this is the time to really think how clients want to pay for our service or product. Maybe it's expensive. Maybe we need to create a subscription model that they can pay a little bit every month. Maybe we create a freebies. So a part that our business could be for free, but if you want additional services, we charge for it. Or maybe there are partial payments or discounts. This is a good time to think about your profit model. Your networking. I think one of the things that could really take us to the other side is how we can network and work together right now. I don't need to be perfect in my business for everything, but probably I know good people that could work with me on my new ideas, on my new reinventions. How can we bring them together? Maybe it's not the whole version of my business, maybe it's an area of my business, but that networking, we now more than ever have to make it really strong. In terms of a structure, definitely we need to rethink. Companies are gonna become leaner in a way. So what is really for the new situation, what is the human capital that I need, the human resources, but also the technologies? How can I make my business even more efficient? Then in process, definitely I need to review the process because maybe there were things that I was doing that are not important anymore, that are not relevant anymore. Maybe a step in my process that I thought, oh, it was a nice to have, but now it's not a need. So I need to go back to my process and see how can I make it more effective, more efficient. Or maybe because let's say I'm an IT developer and I was doing really customized services, but now I realize that maybe people are not going to pay my ultra customized services. And I decide to create a new service that are more something that has a similar base to everybody and it just needs some tweaking. So I'm changing my process. I'm making it simpler so I can lower the cost for the customer. Product performance. So how can I make it better? And this is something I have got a lot of a thought. And I think if people that have been in my classes or I have been a consultant, I talk a lot about it. I really think this is the moment to bring the best experience to our clients. Many of our clients are at home with kids. So how can we bring the party that they were used to at home? How can we bring that entertainment? How can we leverage and help them build the garden of their dreams so they can enjoy those times? So what can I offer in my product and services that I can, or services that I can bring a better performance? I changed completely the way, for instance, I teach. And I'm super happy. I realized that before I give a class of 3 to 4 hours. Now I can give a class of an hour and a half and then give the students some time to think and reconnect with them 2 days after in short meetings and smaller groups. And I'm delighted to see the results that we can build. So how can we better serve? If I'm delivering food, how I can do it in a better way? Maybe just a simple note that will say, we are thinking about you and we wish you a happy day. I don't know, there's many things and even simple things that could really improve the product performance. Product system is, imagine the shampoo and the conditioner. That for me is the best example. And I think nowadays, especially with the new needs, we probably will need to partner with people. If we don't have the product system ourselves, how can we partner to have it? Because we need to make life easier. You know, people are not driving everywhere. We don't want people to be maybe everywhere and they don't want. So how can we bring all this together? Maybe how can I work in a product system with my suppliers and bring a better service, because I have a system, an integrated system. People don't need to go and get the extra parts somewhere. All the services all in one place. So that's a product system. The service. How can we make that service even better? How can we make it simpler? I'm the queen of Post-its, and those that know me know that I will carry Post-its everywhere because I love to brainstorm with Post-its. One of the biggest things for me was how to do it digitally. And recently I found a website, a tool called Mural. And for me, it's been enlightening because now I can share and I can allow thinking, even within the digital presentations. So think all the ways that you can service better. Channels, definitely, we need to find what are the new channels that people want to reconnect. Maybe we don't want to reconnect in same ways. For instance, FPL has shown that the amount of, we are getting, all of us are going to bed later and waking up later too. So maybe we don't want to contact anybody at 7:30 in the morning or 8 o'clock. Maybe 9 o'clock is the right time. So how can we connect to the new channels and the right way? Branding. This is the time to refresh your brand, to talk about all this PR, and to really, really reimagine how you want to be perceived. Maybe your sales have diminished, but this is the way to get your brand really strong. Who do you want people to see in your brand? What is the spirit of your brand? How do you want to bring it to life? And finally, customer engagement. This is the new area to connect and communicate. How are we going to do it? How can we bring an amazing school at home, an amazing healthy food during the week that parents cannot go out and eat outside during the week? How can we bring the weekend experience in a new way in our social distancing? So how can we engage those customers and make them the most amazing product and service? Finally, you need to create an action plan, because all the ideas are great, but if you don't create an action plan, you will never deliver what you want to do. I usually like to create an action plan for a year when I do business strategy. But at this time, I really recommend you do it for 3 months, because probably in 3 months, we'll be here having a new type of conversation. I don't know what is it yet, but probably we will have to reinvent again and see new other ideas and new trends and different things. So one way to do it, I always say, is about rocks. And I know it's not only me, but many strategists use the word rock for an action plan. So imagine you are on a road on your car, and there are suddenly 3 big rocks in front of you. You cannot go ahead. So one way to do it is identify these 3 big rocks that are blocking you to taking your business to a new level. So for instance, I don't have a clue how to sell in Amazon. That's a rock that maybe I want to change. So I will take 3 actions to cover that. Maybe another rock is, I know I have to make my process more lean. How do I do it? And I create 3 actions. And then a third rock, something that I definitely want to change. Maybe I need to improve my networking. I don't have the right connections. How am I going to do it? And I said 3 actions. You can do it that way, or you can do it in the next 3 months, in June, and 3 things you want to cover. I really want to improve at the same time my process, my skills in finance, and my website. And you will improve, you will split those tasks month by month, so in this case, month 1, month 2, and month 3. These plans, these action plans at this time, I fully recommend you review it weekly with a lot of patience, because things are not moving as fast as we can, but definitely monthly, and then at the end of the quarter, and then rebuild it again. We need agility more than ever. Resilience and agility are our biggest strengths, but that's what we are going to get at the other side of the curve. So in summary, the 7 steps to reinvent your business are: understand the new environment. 2, be aware of your customer new needs. 3, recognize your business capabilities. 4, identify the invention gap analysis. 5, review your new value proposition. 6, fine-tune your reinvention. And 7, create an action plan. This is my opinion. We have been given a second chance to create the best version of our business, to make this world a better place for our clients, clients of our clients, our employees, our investors, and our communities. Let's use it well. We are here with the SBDC at FIU. We are here to help you. If anything of this presentation you found value and you really think you need more support, you just use the QR code that is there, register, and we will be able to help you at no cost. So we are here for you and we love to have you. So please contact us. So now, thank you, Brian, again, and we are open for questions.
And I think Brianna was gonna moderate the questions. Just thanks, Adriana, great presentation. I also love that slide, how I'm kind of hovering at the top. So it's kind of like I'm like the little Yoda, the little guardian angel. So.
No, and I want to thank Brianna for organizing these webinars. There are a lot more to come, and I hope you will benefit from them.
Yeah.
So
and Adriana, I think at the beginning, if you were doing this in person, you should always say sponsored by Post-its, right? Because you use so many Post-its.
Yes, definitely.
So Brianna, did you want to read the questions off?
Okay, so the first person had asked if we could repeat the trends to follow or type in the chat. I guess before you comment, Adriana, I can go ahead and say so any of the information from this presentation today, we will be providing the slides to everyone at the end of the presentation, as well as this whole webinar recording will be posted to our YouTube page. And I will be providing everybody with that info.
Thank you, Brianna. And in addition, I just mentioned like 2 or 3. The best way to get all the trends is next week at the same time, 9:30 a.m. Tuesday, I will be talking about the trends, only trends, because that's a completely new chapter.
And I was gonna say too, a lot of businesses have been following their industry associations. So if you're a grocery store, the Grocers Association, National Restaurant Association, they've been very proactive on putting up best practices, on trends, market data, research. So definitely depending on your industry, you should also check whatever local, state, national association you have, because they've been posting a lot of really good information that businesses are utilizing.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
And then our next question, in your opinion, what other business segments will be filing for bankruptcy, like some big department stores? And then are we witnessing the end of shopping malls, hotels, airlines, any others?
I think we are witnesses a change in the way we connect, we communicate, and even the things that we think we're closing and changing are blossoming. I yesterday talked to a friend that she makes pottery and she sells it on Etsy. I honestly, when she called me, I was worried because I thought, who will be buying pottery right now? To my surprise, when we talk, she told me that in the last 2 months, she's been busier than ever, that she's sleeping so little because she found a niche. She's in the niche of the giving. So people can buy presents, little presents and details at a very not that expensive cost, but people can share the love in a different way. And that's her niche. So she's not about making pottery. And my biggest message to all of you is the ones that reinvent will be there and will blossom at the other end. Clothing stores maybe not be selling in store all the time, but maybe they can sell in other ways, and maybe they will sell another style of clothing and shoes. I've been thinking, do I really want to wear again high heels? I'm really thinking about it. So probably that's going to change. But on the other hand, it will depend on also in the cities. For instance, Milan, by changing the streets from cars to bicycles and walking, there are a lot of new stores that are blossoming again because people are stopping again to do shopping. So that's the way everything will be reinvented. We will see it, and that's the glasses we need to use. I think it's a process. It's a process that we will be recreate the way we do things.
And I was just going to mention, like, my background is business continuity and disaster recovery. And as Adriana mentioned, now is the time to reinvent your business, but also now is the time to make your business stronger, more resilient. And a lot of the steps you can take can help your business be a lot stronger down the road. And a lot of businesses, you've seen a lot of disasters, 9/11, Hurricane Katrina, BP oil spill, things like that. How the disaster works is it really is like a big rock going in a pond, and there's a big splash, and then there's ripples, and then there's ripples, and it settles out. And we've thought that for a lot of times. You thought the airline industry after 9/11, you know, you've thought about other industries after other disasters. And as Adriana's point is business innovation. So businesses innovate, new businesses spring up. So this is definitely the time, as she said, for you to think through your business model and think through your strategies and think through your channels, because this is a way for you to make your business stronger, or maybe even think of another business or another way to do things. But I definitely think a lot of those business models, they've been around for a long time, so you can't necessarily count them out. And then obviously we saw during the Great Recession, a lot of new businesses popped up that are like, you know, mainstays now. So.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to remember that, like the biggest startups and very successful business today started in 2008 out of the need. Mm-hmm. So yes, that's true. Brianna, what is the next question?
So the next question was, I own a small business, a franchise in the professional home cleaning segment. I'm very worried about when I'd be getting my clients to come back again. Do you have any comments or suggestions?
I haven't been dealing with the home cleaning services, but I have helped companies in the office cleaning services. And this is my thought for you. Cleaning is not only going unclean. If we think cleaning as in a bigger picture, cleaning could be helping people how to clean better their house. You could have tips. You can find a new way to teach people to clean, even if you are not present. Mm-hmm. And I tell you, because now all of us, we're cleaning the houses, and it's difficult to teach. Even we wish we could teach our kids to clean. I really advise you to go and look at Whirlpool. Whirlpool created a very nice campaign with Post-its that says that since parents are so busy, how can we use the chores at home to teach kids something new, but also they can help at home. And it's a beautiful campaign. And part of it is folding clothes and cleaning. Mm-hmm. So that's a nice campaign. So think about it. Think that your business is not sending people to clean homes. It's bigger than that. Cleaning is bigger. And maybe in the future, your business could change on the best way to clean, I don't know, bathrooms in the fastest way and efficient way. I don't know. So remember, this is a new way to connect and communicate. But really Google Whirlpool and look it in Instagram. You can see a lot of the campaign. Very interesting campaign.
Yeah, and I think that also this kind of feeds into the next question. But a lot of businesses, as Adriana mentioned, it's all about connecting with your clients and staying in touch and providing content for them and ways to engage them. So I know a lot of businesses right now, they're actually sending the letter, depending on your service or product that you have, they're sending letter, it's time for your annual checkup. It's time for your annual check-in. And, you know, we're naturally inclined when we get that, oh man, I need to reach out to these guys. So, you know, a lot of businesses are sending those letters to their client list. It's time for your annual check-in. It's time for a free assessment. You know, those kind of things. That's a way for you to touch the client and get your brand awareness out there and be in touch. And then you can kind of circle back on additional services. I know some of the other ones, it's a little tougher given the quarantine and shelter in place, but I think that there are some ways you can do it. And also a lot of businesses, they've been innovating their way out of this pandemic, because think about restaurants. Some restaurants weren't getting as much business on takeout and delivery, so they actually started selling some of the products like paper, like toilet paper, like some of the groceries and things like that. If you're a home cleaning business, maybe you have a big inventory, maybe you can sell some of those products, because I think a lot of people might want to buy that too. And you might have a good connection via your supply chain. So that might be one opportunity too.
And that's a good idea. Yeah, you can sell your product, or you can even partner. Let's say you partner with someone that does gardening decorations. So you partner while everybody has a nice experience on the garden. You go inside, you clean the home, and you make sure you disinfect everything perfectly. So there are a lot of ways to reinvent right now.
And Brianna, the next question. I think Brianna's on mute. I can read that. What recommendations do you have for startup businesses during this time?
For startups, I think it's a great time. I think sometimes when you reinvent, there is a lot of resistance from everybody around you, because even the closest people to you they don't believe in your new reinvention. So since everybody's reinventing, this is a great time. I definitely encourage you to, again, go back and review your clients' needs. Find really a good business model, build a good business model, and get help. SBDC has a lot of way to help people that are starting a business. So you are welcome to reach us, and we will help you. Mm-hmm. This is a great time, but you will only be successful if you are rooted in the new environment and the new needs of the clients.
Mm-hmm. And I was just going to mention our website is SBDC for Small Business Development Center .fiu.edu. Oh, there you go. So she's got all the contact info. Okay. And then the next question, is it true that people really think that this new normal is a normal thing?
The reality, and if you look at the very well-known strategies like Simon Sinek, this is the new life. Probably we won't be as all the time in our houses so much as we are now, but this is a new way. I was listening last night at Marketplace, and they were talking about schools, and they were saying that definitely we need to reinvent in a way how people will go back to school, because it was really expensive before. So how can we do it in a way that people have access? Because now after this, people will really rethink about the boarding part and the spending if you are not having the experience, the physical experience. So I think we need to reinvent new, really attractive ways to have the physical experience for people really get more educated on the new skills and the traits that are needed. And that would change the way that is happening now. It would force us to change. It's forcing us to do it in a behave different with our kids. It's forcing us to inspire our kids to do things beyond school. So yes, I really believe things are changing now. It's going to be different, but it's going to be good. It's going to be just different.
Yeah, and a lot of businesses are also rethinking commercial real estate, big office space, things like that, now that they're seeing that people are able to work effectively. I think at the end of the day, like we said, it's gonna kind of be like your little curve. It's gonna go like that and go up. So, but I think, commercial real estate is not gonna go away, but a lot of businesses are rethinking that strategy.
And I really believe, Brian, that if this had been an economic recession, that it would have affected us in a pretty similar way. Or also it has forced us to move out of our comfort zone, but because it was a financial recession and we were kind of thinking it was coming, our acceptance would have been different. Mm-hmm. It came with the name of COVID-19, but it's creating the same effect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Brianna, did you have the next question?
Yes, so the next question I will actually answer. So this will be a regularly occurring Tuesday morning meeting. So our webinars, they kind of vary as far as like specific dates. We may do one a week, or in other cases, there may be 2 to 5 a week. It really just varies. But if you want like any sort of like updates on the offerings that we have, you should have received maybe a couple of emails from me. Feel free to just shoot me an email and I can send you just all of that information and we can get you registered for any of our upcoming webinars. And that goes for anyone on the webinar today. If you have any questions or concerns or would like to get registered or need information about our upcoming webinars, just send them my way.
Yeah, but for this Tuesday and next Tuesday, you will see Adriana's webinar. But I guess that's a compliment, Adriana, because they're saying they like your presentation so much. They want to see you every Tuesday morning. They want to hear
That's
from you.
good. That's good. Let's do it.
That's great.
I'm here to help you. Anybody, and I'm with through the SBDC. If you are located in the Miami and Monroe, I can help you, and I can tell you all the consultants that work with me are amazing. So just count on us. We are here for you.
Yeah, and now that the Keys is open for visitors, now Adriana's excited to go down and visit.
Yeah, I can go also.
The next question is, can you give more examples of rocks for reinventing within different industries like service, creative, art, graphic, real estate?
A rock is something that you see in front of you. The way to identify your rocks, because they're different for every business, is usually those big things that keep you up at night, or things that you really know if you do it, your business will be a better version. Let's put it in the human side, not the business. Sometimes we decide to be a better version of ourselves. Maybe a specific event is coming or a specific birthday or something. And we say, okay, the 2 things I need to do is maybe exercise more, losing weight, and I don't know, and change my look. I don't know. That's something that we get. The rocks are like the big objectives that you think you need to change. Those big things that you commit to do. So for instance, in the real estate business, it will depend where you are and how you're doing. But in my opinion, some big rocks now in real estate, for instance, are really understanding the new needs. If you really understand the new needs, for instance, what is happening in California, it's very interesting. In many of the companies in Silicon Valley are saying, you employees don't have to come back to the office anymore. You can work from home. Interesting. So what happens? Definitely we need homes with all things ready and the space to hold that new office with all these new capabilities. But also, probably we don't need to live in that expensive area. Probably we couldn't move out to the suburbs and have a nicer garden if we have kids. So maybe the bigger rocks is to definitely understand the new trends, the new consumers, what you can really offer, what people really want now. That's what is the most important thing. And definitely the steps that I gave you, at least understanding the new environment and the new consumer and your strengths and weaknesses could be at least the first 3 rocks.
Yeah, and I see we have like a 2-part question from Marcelo. He works in a language school. What's the opinion about coming back to on-site classes? How can we have social distancing in a classroom? And then he also just noted, I'm also worried with the chance of public schools not coming back in August, resuming on-site classes. What's your opinion on that?
Marcelo, I think a language school is a very interesting place. Even though we may not travel yet, I think pretty soon we will find the airlines are doing amazing things to make it safe for us, and maybe we will change. There will be a point where we'll be tired. Maybe we will be doing little steps to go out and travel and feel that we can go to other places. I think schools will have to reinvent in different ways. Yesterday, I heard also from an SBDC consultant, like in Turkey, what they plan to do is split half a day some students, another half a day the other students. So students don't eat lunch at the school, but they can make smaller classes. I think here they will need to rethink how we are gonna do it. Maybe kids won't go every day. I think the social part is something they miss a lot. But I think, and as I teach also at FIU, I tell you what I think we are missing and what I'm being forced to help is the connections that were built across students, that by being in the same classroom, they could connect. Nowadays, I have to force that they call each other and they know better they meet. But I like, on the other hand, the experience online and the level of contact and measurement I can have of the students. So I think in your case, you will have to measure and maybe even think what is your best way to go and maybe suggest it with the people that you work. Or if you are the owner of this business, how you can reconnect it in new ways. Think about maybe people 65 and older that maybe won't be able to really go outside for a while. How can you bring the experience of a new language and even connect it with a virtual tour of an amazing place? I don't know. There are many ways to do it.
And I would say I have two little kids, and I know that they've been doing Zoom classes, obviously, and they actually had lunch where they did lunch together with the students over Zoom. So they're all eating their lunch there, kind of talking to their classmates and things like that. That's kind of the new normal. And Marissa just noted on your point about the cleaning companies, how cleaning companies are doing windows, patios, etc., where they don't have to come inside. They're also doing classes, like Adriana said, to teach cleaning and organizational skills. So thank you for that, Marissa.
Thank you.
And then Alexandra asked, as the businesses begin to reopen, do you see a new trend in doing business?
I see, yes, because this is my thought. You are allowed to open 25% of your business. You need to find a way to get the other 75. And in addition, before you used to put advertising for people to come, and people will come. But now, even if you put the most amazing advertising, you are depending on the feeling of that person. So maybe I don't feel ready to go out. Maybe people don't feel ready to go to, I don't know, the dentist. If you know the news, a lot of people are missing going to the doctor for really important things because they are not confident enough yet to do it. So it will be slowly, and I think it also will depend on the business, what you show you can have. If your business is maybe a restaurant, a total outdoors, maybe it's easier that you get people there. If it's a completely closed business, how can you prove social distancing? How can you help people feel fine? Because remember, the needs are not only physical needs, but our emotional needs too. So that's very important to keep into account. So for now, yes, we need to shift in some ways.
And I see Desiree asked, you mentioned the podcast or the website that you're listening to, I think it's NPR and Marketplace.
Yeah, Marketplace you can Google it and find the articles. You can find in the podcast, or I think they're every day probably at 6 p.m. I'm not sure because I listen it in podcast, but in NPR you will find it, I think, at 6 p.m. every day. And it's a good version across all. They talk about trends, they talk about the economy, they talk about the industries, the market. So it's and in a very positive note, which I like.
So I think we're going to cover 3 more questions, just so we cover some of the folks that hadn't got any questions answered yet. Stacy asked, thank you for your presentation, valuable information. I have a natural beauty business primarily focused on women. I would like to know your opinion if it would be okay to add herbal products to my line to address the health need as well. Secondly, I also have a line of beard care products for men. Would it be okay to keep this as a component of my brand or put it in a different brand? That's kind of a specific, it's very specific. Mirabelle asked, she owns a small lash and brow business. What do you recommend to attract clients? So I'm kind of hitting both of the beauty questions together.
So for the beauty, it's interesting. I think probably you will have people that will come to the salon because they really feel they need it. And maybe there is a point that you really need the expertise. But probably we will distance the time we go because maybe instead of going every week or every month, we'll maybe make it longer. But it doesn't mean don't wanna feel nice. So I think this is the time to really understand the new beauty. So what will be the new beauty? Maybe it's a curly hair. Maybe it's a different makeup. Maybe it's a makeup to be online. So really understanding the new beauty and the new cares of men. I see in all the webinars, either a lot of big beards, but also now the trend is changing and now they're even shaving their heads. So understanding that and really helping your own clients to flow and feel nice. We all have days that we will have our birthdays, days that we will be invited to a webinar, we want to look nice. Even if it's a social webinar or a social Zoom, we want to look nice. So that's the most important thing, that you add elements of the new needs, not for the sake of adding, but for the sake of covering the needs of your clients.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then an anonymous attendee asked, how do you separate the signal from the noise? How do you identify real opportunities from the noise? Now all the customers, hotels are asking for face masks, but these are at higher prices, in the highest prices in history, and the specialty of medical suppliers, not hotel suppliers. So getting face masks business is not a long or even middle term good idea.
You know what? That's a good question. I've been trying to do in all my presentations, trying to bring that message that this is. That's why I say it came with the name of COVID-19 and it came with the physical part, and I understand that. But this was going to happen. This has just only accelerated the way our business was supposed to change. And that's something we need to understand. The purpose of this meeting is to give you a hope so you get the strength to start building what you have to build. I recommend sometimes watching news so much, it gets really draining. That's why, for instance, I like Marketplace. I like McKinsey, the reports they're having, that they are down to earth and with a clear vision on how to rebuild. We have rebuilt very many times in history and we will do it again. And this situation, the only thing is, it's gonna say what I say, it's gonna make a better version of our business, a better version of ourselves. Because now we have to be strong, and for us, for our kids, for our clients, for our community. So that's my advice. Maybe switch to more positive information, and you will see that there's a lot of also of opportunities. Sometimes we focus too much in the weaknesses. Right now, we need to focus on the strengths to rebuild. If you were building a house, you will start working there with building your foundation really strong. So use what you are really strong right now. I will start there.
Cool. And then I have kind of a final two-part question. Vince asked, any suggestions on how to build a network during COVID-19 where we're limited to staying at home? And then also, Maribel had another question. She's got a lot of the good questions today. She said that if she reinvents, what would be a good idea? Clients like reinvention, but they're scared and they're short on money right now. So okay. Networking, and also how to reinvent when clients are kind of scared and short on funding.
So two things. For the networking, this also, again, I'm going to say it personally. I think now if you connect to people, in many ways, if your intention is good and your value, you add value, people are welcome to receive it. This is a watch out too. I have received so many LinkedIns in the last 2 months that I was not a person that would block people. But honestly, if you're gonna ask me 3 times about my website and then in the third email you say, you listen, you haven't answered my email, yeah, honestly, no, I don't want that at this time. But if you come to people, find maybe the people that where you what you do can be a good partnership with, find really the needs and the good ideas and start exploring how you can do that. You can also connect to networkings. I belong to a BNI, for instance, a business networking international, BNI. We're still active, but it's in a social distancing mode. So you can test it if you like it. It's an investment to be in a group like that. But you don't need to pay right now. You can go, there are many groups online. There are many ways to connect. Ask for, even if you ask your suppliers, your accountant, your people around you and say, listen, do you know anybody to connect? I want to connect with the people X or Y. You will find someone. Put it even in your social media. I have this, I'm looking for this, and people will connect. I think people now are really willing to support each other. Mm-hmm. So that's, and the second question is, I know this, it's interesting because in theory, people are less willing to spend. But if you look at Faria Zakaria from CNN, talk on Sunday, this Sunday, and actually there is only his clip on CNN, the beginning of his presentation. How is the split on the which area had more resources, that which socioeconomic level has more resources than others? So there are areas that people are spending. You need to really think in your business if they are spending or not and why. If the reason why they're not spending is because it's not going to be a need. If you sell high heels, I'll tell you, you know what? No, right now it's difficult that people are going to buy high heels. If you sell really comfortable shoes, but they're very expensive, there are many ways. Maybe you need to change your profit model. How can people afford the most amazing pair of shoes? Mm-hmm. But maybe I pay $20 a month for a couple months. So you really need to think, if it's something that is good for this time, is a really need and is valuable, how can you make it accessible? Think of Airbnb, that's what they did. 2008, people wanted to travel, but it was too expensive. So they found a niche and they make it more affordable. So think of Netflix. Before we used to buy all these movies and at the end they were expensive and then we knew them by heart. And then they created a model that you have now it's even a subscription and we can see everything we want for a price. So think how you can do it. I think there are many ways on if it's a value now, a really good need, how you can make it affordable for them.
Yeah, and you talked about reinventions and kind of innovations, and look at Netflix. They originally started by sending DVDs and by sending, games and things like that through the mail, or just movies, sorry. But then they switched to streaming. Then they switched to streaming movies over the internet, which obviously is very popular. And now they're making their own movies and their own shows and things like that. Mm-hmm. So they've kind of done like 3 different innovations along the way. So if we didn't get to your question, then Brianna took a picture. So she's going to follow up with you on it. I think we had maybe 4 questions remaining. And just want to thank everybody for participating, and also want to thank Adriana. We can give her a virtual clap. Thanks, Adriana. It was a good presentation. And as I said, people want to see you every Tuesday now. So now that shows the content was good, that you're on point. So congratulations on that.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Brianna, also for coordinating all these webinars. And thank you for the team of the SBDC at FIU that have worked so hard in the last 2 months, for everybody. And for all of you, really use the QR code. And this is the start. We are giving you the pieces, but we are also here to help if you think you need more help. Mm-hmm. So it was a pleasure to be with all of you today.
Thank you. And then I guess all you guys, if you want to see Adriana next Tuesday, you can sign up for the next webinar.
Yes.
So you can see her. So that's kind of our call to action. Our call to action is register for her next webinar.
For the trends. We will talk about trends.
Yeah. So just thanks to everybody, and we'll post this to YouTube. If you have any questions, feel free to email Brianna. She's always the most popular person after the webinar. So feel free to follow up with her.
Mhm.
And thanks, and have a great week and be safe.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.